All right, the movie is Being Flynn, and we are with Flynn. Nick Flynn, what's going on, man?
How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great.
I love the title, by the way, of the original, Another Bullshit Night in Suck City.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's a good title.
It's a great title. Where did that, well, if you know the story, which we're going to get to in just a couple of minutes, but did you throw darts and say, this is the one that I want?
No. They wrestled with the title for years.
Yeah.
'Cause it's such a wrong title to put something out in the world with that title, but it's the right title for the book, and, so it just had to be, that's what it had to be in the end, so.
It's a very powerful story, both the book and the movie starring Robert DeNiro.
Yeah.
What...
And Paul Dano.
And Paul Dano, yeah, of course. But it's autobiographical, of course, your story. And what made you decide that, hey, I want the world to know this is where I came from, this is about me? Because that's kind of a brave thing to do.
When I wrote the book.
Right.
And now it's a movie, so
right.
Maybe, hopefully more people will see it, yes. It's just what I do. I wrote poetry before this, and I still write poetry. And, there's a much smaller audience, so you don't really expect. So this is just, it came out in this version, which looked like a memoir, and I didn't really, anticipate, that there would be more readers. But there's somewhat more readers than for poetry.
What's it like when you find out that Robert De Niro is interested in a project that you are a part of, that you wrote, and you get an actor like that, man? That's just...
Yeah, sort of beyond the, what
you don't just get Robert De Niro. You don't write a book. I think Robert De Niro is going to play my dad.
Yeah, no, that'd be sort of the dream
right.
thing. And also with, Julianne Moore and with Paul Dano, too. But when De Niro signed on, it seemed like everything, then we were all set to go. It was just, you couldn't do better, so.
What was it like when
especially for the role, too. For the role, because it's a complicated role, too. I mean, it's not, my father, he plays my father.
Right.
So my father, we probably all think our parents are complicated, I guess. But, mine seems complicated a certain way, which is this, he has this grandeur about him, for one thing, but also it's diluted, and it's also menacing, and it's also sort of charming and funny, and there's a lot of levels to it. And I think De Niro can somehow contain them all in this strange way, very strange way.
What was it like when you got the call and you found out that all these big names, big Hollywood names, were on board on this project?
Well, it sort of comes slowly. Like De Niro was the first one. He got on like 4 years ago, and then that's sort of when things started sort of clicked when it came together. When once De Niro signs on, then everything else sort of falls into place.
Right.
And then piece by piece, we sort of put it together. So De Niro was he was the main piece. But it was also with Paul Weitz. Paul Weitz, the director, screenwriter. He and I were working on it already for a few years before that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about we're not going to give away too much. We want people to see the movie, of course, Being Flynn. And you cleaned up the title really nice there for the theater. Is that because you didn't want bullshit written on the screen, the marquee?
We had a test screening in Paramus, New Jersey over the summer.
Yeah.
Which is, in New York. The film was shot in New York, and Paramus is as close to America as you can get, I guess. Like, heartland America. And the title was Welcome to Suck City at that point. And people fled from the movie. People would not go to see a movie called Welcome to Suck City, which we were surprised about. We were all behind it. We were all behind this, putting Suck City in the title at least. But the public seemed, about 9 out of 10 people just turned and walked away if we said that title to them. So we thought that was a bad sign.
Being Flynn.
Being Flynn, yeah. Being Flynn.
Okay, I don't want to give too much away, but I do want to talk about the story and centers around when you reunite with your dad. You're working at a homeless shelter. This is true, by the way. This happened.
Yeah, I began working at a homeless shelter in my 20s. I was 24. Early 20s, a little lost, drinking a lot. Seemed like a good job. So for me, it seemed like the right place, my people. Went there. I worked there for 3 years, and my father, who I didn't know growing up, got evicted from where he lived. He also lived in Boston. This was in Boston, and ended up being homeless for 5 years. So that's how we got to know each other. I was working with the homeless. He ends up at the shelter.
Do you remember that day though when you were like, whoa?
Oh, yeah, quite well. Yeah, when he showed up. But it was a series of steps, though. Like, when he got evicted, it's like, the movie sort of chronicles this also.
The moving day is hilarious, by the way.
He called me. Yeah, we had a moving day. I didn't actually help him move his stuff. We sort of changed that for the movie. I just gave him some money to move his stuff. But we chronicle it in the movie, the steps that lead to. I mean, that's the thing about the movie that I like, is that it sort of leads. It's not like De Niro is just homeless, like purely homeless. He's not homeless. He's homeless for a period of time. He goes down even lower, and then he comes out of it at the end. It's sort of there's a trajectory to it, which I think is accurate to at least my experience. So
That was my next question. So when you watch the movie now, it's fantastic, by the way. Congratulations on it. It really is just a powerful piece, and I think it deals. My comment when I walked out of the theater was a media screening, and I walked out and I said, "This story is so true to life on so many different levels. It deals with addiction. It deals with family drama. Really, everybody says, "Oh, my family's dysfunctional." Well, hey, you know what? There's dysfunction on so many different levels.
Yeah. But I think hopefully people, there's certain levels to it. I think it really is just about trying to understand your parents too, and trying to understand like how much you are like them, how much you've inherited from them, how much you gets passed on. I think that's really the main point of it, in an exceptional circumstance.
Right.
In this case, yeah.
Okay, I got to bring up Lily, dude, because 6 Feet Under is one of my favorite shows, dude. She just, when you see her, just say, "Hey, the guy in Houston remembers 6 Feet Under," and her roles in that show is just amazing.
I always tell her. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. What else is coming up, man?
Well, I'm a writer, and so I'm writing a book about being on set every day, making the movie. So it's called The Reenactments. Seeing your, father played by Robert DeNiro and mother played by Julianne Moore. So.
I don't know whether to believe you or not.
It's the truth. Yeah.
It's the truth? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
I'm working on that now. So
awesome, man. All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Nick Flynn.
Yeah.